All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm Thomas Fessler, your host, and welcome to another exciting episode of Inviting the Phenomena. We've got a really great time planned for you tonight. We'll be interviewing Beverly Holmes, who's on a lifetime of experiences about UAP consciousness, orbs, and more. An amazing person who's had an amazing life. She's a Cherokee native, a U.S. Navy veteran, and experiencer. But before we get to that, and I bring anybody else out, I want to go ahead and say, hey, a quick shout out to everybody in the audience. Upset UAP faction. Great that you made it. Who else we've got here? Mr. Catfish 2100. Awesome for you being here. Man, I hate that font. Give me a second here. I've got to love this that they go ahead and change out my text and I have to go to their design. Give me a second. Much better. I can actually see now. Okay, but back to where we were 1 second. So, Mr. Catfish 2100, thanks for coming back, man. We are so glad that you're back. Mr. Gray Troll, glad that you're here. Kelly Lewis, thank you for coming to the show. We appreciate it. Banana Booey, great to have you here, Banana. I think I already said hi to Upstate UAP faction. Elena Lonaloo, welcome, Elena. Glad to have you here. We hope you're going to enjoy the show we've got for you today. Bob M, glad that you made it. Robin Hood 1966, my friend, glad that you're here. Dave Bailey, welcome to the show as well. And I think we're getting close on everybody here. Was there someone I saw? I got to bring this up. Les, my friend, you made it, but I usually saying less is more. So hope to hear some good comments from you in the chat tonight. That's about everybody I can see. Dave Bailey, I think I've already said hi for you as well. So on that, let me take the music, turn things down a bit. Wait, turn off echo cancellation. Where's that at? Echo cancellation is back on, so I'm not gonna hear everyone echoing. Julie, thank you very so much. You're so beautiful tonight. Thanks for being here tonight.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm looking forward to this. I think that B is going to be a wonderful guest and so interesting.
Yeah, she's had an interesting life. Things have started up for her and her family real early in her life, and it's got some interesting stories that I'm really looking forward to it. On that note, we want to wish best of health to Lynda. Sorry you couldn't be here tonight. We hope you're recovering well, and we love you. We miss you so much from our hearts. So on that note,
yep,
let's bring B out. B, welcome. How you doing?
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here.
Awesome. I'm glad you could make it. Your camera's not quite working tonight, but at least we've got you by audio. So absolutely awesome to have you here tonight.
I've convinced myself I'm not nervous because I've seen all these people in the chat for so long. And yeah, you guys are all my friends.
Beverly
You're
Holmes,
all really cool, groovy fellow weirdos, and I love you all.
Yeah, it's great to have
someone. I know
someone.
you're just
go ahead.
One of us, kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great.
You're one of us from the chat. It's
nice
having you.
Definitely.
It's great to bring someone across who's been in the show for a while and coming to this one and UAP Disclosure tonight. It's great to have you around, and can't wait to hear more about everything that you're going with and had been through. And I call this, it was, just my brain was not working today and I could not go ahead and just come up with a title and everything. Sorry, everybody. I've been kind of late putting things together. My mom passed away and all these bad habits of different things that were kind of how my mom acted. All of a sudden, I'm doing them now. I hope that doesn't mean that she's here with me and hanging out for a while, because that could make some things in life uncomfortable with mom watching. Yeah, but anyway, B, when we were talking in a little bit of time before this, it was you were talking about some experiences that started real early in life, and you weren't sure if you can talk about it. But a lot of people who have experiences like you've had see all types of the phenomena and have different types of things. And this is something that you and your sister, your whole family, dealt with. Why don't you tell us? Do you want to talk about it?
Sure. I'm the second oldest of 5 girls. My family is directly related to the Cherokee tribe roles back in the early 1800s. great grandfather signed up with the Cherokee in the war, and my grandfather and my father all joined the military. I joined the Navy. I don't think Cherokee has anything really necessarily to do with it, though. I feel this is innate within all of us. You know, maybe there's something to it with a genetic predisposition or a genetic memory kind of thing. But I was raised kind of really open-minded too, because my grandmother was a very, very special woman, and I inherited her gift. I mean, she always said it, and everybody knew. I mean, she told everybody I was her favorite to their face. They knew. They didn't hear. But she was just awesome. When I was 4, and my older sister was 5.5, my dad was stationed in Fort Knox, Kentucky. And in the middle of the night, this is early 80s, there was this old plastic play school telephone with just plastic. I mean, there's nothing to it. And in the middle of the night, this thing would ring. And me and my sister would wake up and answer it, and there would be this woman talking in this very serene kind of melodic kind of way, but in a foreign language that we have yet to be able to place. This happened for about 2 weeks. First, told our parents, they thought it was just a dream or whatever, and we were both having the same dream at the same time, obviously, come on. But after about 2 weeks, they just, one day it was gone. We went out to play and came back, and my mom threw it away. A bunch of different little stuff, really nothing really big when I was a kid. I mean, things would kind of move in weird places. And a lot of other family whispers, but they weren't like straight out, hey, this is what this is. But okay, I left home. I was very rebellious.
Yeah.
I left
really
home.
quick on that. Beverly, was it the person who was speaking? What kind of language? Was it in English? Was it in a different language?
It was a foreign language that I have never heard before or since. I have no idea, and I know it's not a figment of my imagination. I have checked with my sister and my mom to make sure that they remember that too, and yes, they do. And yeah, I also had weird friends with. I made weird friends with animals. I was a tomboy, and yeah.
I think Julie's got a question here. Julie?
I was going to say, and you were saying there were other like poltergeist things in a small way that happened along this.
Just things would move right in front of us and just move. they would just move. Like a toy would just move like an inch across the counter, as we were looking at it, just or then come back into the room knowing something's different, like a toy was on the opposite side of the room. Just little stuff. And I used to think I had an imaginary friend, but he was purely imaginary because I didn't have a figure for him in my head. I didn't tell you what he looked like or anything, but I felt like I had an imaginary friend, and eventually got shamed out of that one.
Yeah, I guess all people look at things differently.
Yeah, and things were like that in my house too. They moved, on occasion. So, but other people saw it too, and we tried to ignore it pretty much.
My dad ended up being a really devout Southern Baptist, and he was really conflicted with the differences in them, magic or sky people or healing and stuff like that. That was just not allowed in the Bible. That's witchcraft, and he kind of fell victim to the dogma, sadly.
Yeah, I understand. My mom was a Jehovah's Witness.
The whole religion thing, it really gets me because they all have such common tales, and then the geologists know that all the continents used to be one, the Pangemina. It makes sense that they're all just different interpretations of the same things, and all of them talk about star people or sun gods or angels or light beings or flaming shields. I mean, whatever this phenomena is has been with us since the very beginning, and that's one thing that really bothers me when I see people into that fear. But that fear's been pushed on us delicately and overtly for 50 years through programming of media and academia and news articles and science. And I mean, it's infiltrated every system to keep our own innate abilities hidden from us so that it would be withheld by just a handful. And the
Yeah, I
reason with
agree.
all the recent war experiences, I really feel like there's a lot more people that are coming to this understanding, whether they call it C5 or heist or chi or whatever. People don't even call it that. And it's, the Native Americans, the Australian, they don't call
Yeah.
it that. It's not New Age. It's a remembering that through our cosmic consciousness, we have a connection with something, with everything that holds life. We are connected to all life, and through the studies of like quantum entanglement and spooky action at a distance, and particles being able to move simultaneously with the power of thought and intention and consciousness that there's no answers for.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got a really in-depth knowledge in all this stuff, but
Not really. I don't know anything. I know little tidbits here and there, but
there's a
I'm
little
no
bit.
expert on nothing.
Yeah, but
Nothing.
but you've had a bunch of experiences that you've gone through. If we fast forward a little bit of time, you were in the Navy for a bit, weren't you?
Yep, it sure was. I
You
went
had some
in.
really cool stuff. Why don't you tell us about what it was like for you in the Navy and kind of some cool stuff that you kind of ran into?
I went in. I was the second week after my 17th birthday. I had already graduated high school and college through an advanced program.
And what year was that?
A 96, and I was also living on my own for like 3 years beforehand because parents got divorced. I was rebellious, ran away from home, thought I was grown, was in advanced classes and doing college and skipping 2 grades, and had a job and got hooked into the wrong crowd that were not just practicing magic, but they were actually making things happen with their intentions. And it was really a dark energy that they were doing. And you can feel that. You cannot mistake that. I don't, you can be the least empathic person in the world. And I believe with everything in me that they will innately know that energy is not positive. And so I kind of don't give a lot of credit to the trickster theory either, because I just don't. I think there's many different ones on different realms.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went to the Navy, was stationed on a nuclear submarine tender, the USS Marias Land. Was out in the middle of the Atlantic during a drill after a hurricane. We decided to stay out for an extra month doing 8-4s,
And where was
8 on,
that?
4 off. I was stationed out in Norfolk.
Okay.
And,
East Virginia?
and Norfolk, Virginia.
Virginia, yeah, sorry. I'm bad with, I'm kind of not bad with states, but.
I was in interior communications monkey. I went around and fixed the interior lines for communication and stuff like that. And you had to be confidential, but not security, big time, because they knew be quiet when, the nudes were around. But I was just a monkey. I was just trying to learn. But anyway, during one of it, I felt really compelled to go above deck and find a place alone, because I just had these words in my head and that I needed to get down on paper, and I could hear it like a song. And I went to the helo deck and I was writing this song that, looking back now, there's absolutely no way that my mind comprehended what the words were that we're saying. It basically,
Can we hear
it's
him?
about last night I had a crazy dream that angels come to visit me. They asked the questions I had no answers to. Like, why couldn't I see what they saw, known what they'd known? I said, I'm scared. They said, fear not the truth. They said, fear not the truth, for we have come to question you, for we do not understand how you can be so lost. In your sadness, in the madness, something has gone wrong. Don't you see these tears we cry? We cry them for you. Look into their eyes and tell them that you know no lies. Watch their teardrops start to fall as they reach into your mind. Past your conscience, past the nonsense that you hide from yourself. They peel away your hollow heart and reveal there's nothing left but lies. And you know,
Wow.
it goes on to, of course, you know, wake you up, and yeah. And there's just no way. I mean, there's just no way I knew what I was saying. I that was compelled, given, gifted, whatever it was. But during the writing of that, about 30 degrees above the horizon, right at dusk, two big, beautiful orange orbs phasing in and out. And I knew they weren't flares because they would phase in and phase out. I have a video of one that I took a very similar a few years ago. That's on my cell phone. I sent you. But I only got a bunch of different really short videos because during the encounter, my phone kept shutting down mysteriously. It worked perfectly fine and perfectly after, but it would keep shutting down, and I have to restart it. And finally, I gave up and just enjoyed the experience. Was lasted like 20 minutes. But anyway, on the ship, these two, they would phase in and phase out, and they would phase out and then phase back in slightly to the side or above or below. You know, it was obvious they weren't flares. And I went to go try to follow my chain of command. You know, I'm just a little monkey, so I go all the way down to the IC shop and get the petty officer second class right there to come back up with me. And he's just like, what are you drinking? I'm not drinking nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you're just too tired. You need you get next shift off. You go get you some sleep. Hunker down. Like, okay. And I mean, it was just total dismissal. I mean, I knew I'd seen something, but I was too young. I wasn't around the UFO subculture before, besides Marvin the Martian from Disney, you know, classic. But I never really thought about it. And I got busy with other stuff, and life happened, and I got hurt really, really bad, and suffered a bunch of traumatic brain injuries. But during it, I also experienced a few moments of the other side. I didn't see the bright light or the tunnel or anything, but I just remember like being out of my body and looking down at this situation for just a brief second. I'm like, well, that sucks. And I thought about my sister immediately. But before I could even finish the thought or finish vocalizing or realizing my own thought to fruition, I was there. I saw her and was able to talk to her later and verify she did that, and it kind of freaked her out. She kind of went down a really troubled path herself. I guess a lot of people do. Everybody, well, you have to really to figure out you don't know nothing.
Yeah,
But, yeah, it was but I lost over 10 years of my cognitive life with defeat with multiple traumatic brain injuries. Succeeded in a very short time.
Yeah.
And,
but it sounds like, you know.
So I had to relearn to walk and talk, and I couldn't chew right, and I couldn't operate my hands right, and lost vision in my left eye, had migraines and grandma tonic-clonic seizures, and just sheared neurons. Just neurons in your brain just sheared straight in half, cut in half, just all over the place. A few axonal injuries, lesions, all kinds of crap, right? Bad stuff. I was on, I think one time, 27 different medications from the VA at one time, and I was so messed up. I had no idea. I was so messed up, and I didn't know. And anyway, lots of rehabilitation.
Yeah,
May
but the
I
thing
say
is,
bravo?
I'm sorry,
Go ahead,
and
Jules.
just kind of.
Hold on a second, Jules. You want to say that question again?
Yeah. I said, I want to tell her bravo because I know how much work that is. My first husband had traumatic brain injury from a car accident and had to relearn everything and how to walk and how to talk and how to eat and come up through all the coma stages and everything. And I applaud you. I know how much hard work it is, and you're doing great because no one would have ever guessed.
Right?
Yeah.
I tried to kill myself several times during my darkest hours, tried to OD and all kinds of stuff. And one time, I shouldn't have woke up. And if I did wake up, I shouldn't have been as stone freaking sober as I was to hear the voice in my head. You can either choose to end your suffering and end it now, or you can continue for the plans that we have for you to help. And it was quite remarkable.
But you took the path
and
to
I
fight
haven't
through
attempted it since. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. too stubborn. I don't know. Or just really lucky I have angels. I know there's so many things that I should not have lived through, and I did. I mean,
Yeah.
there's just no way. I mean, yeah, lots of stuff. I have angels. We all have angels. You just gotta, talk to them.
So after you had the situation, you got past it and everything. When did you you start experiencing more orbs and stuff along those lines?
Well, I got tired of just mindless television, and there was nothing else to do, and I just had this desire that there was something more. And it was during one of my clicks, because coming out of them TBIs, you go through these like little clicks. It doesn't happen like one by one gradually. Like you'll get a click of 5 things putting back into place, and then and then keep moving. And it was just during one of those little clicks I realized, hey, I'm missing out here. There's something else and to do with my time. And I was really drawn to animals. I love animals. Animals just come up to me out of nowhere. It's like Snow White, but it's even more so after the awakening into the consciousness. Let me explain. I started watching, I found it by chance by watching the documentary Thrive, What on Earth Will It Take? About the free energy, the 0 point energy, saving the planet, the huge species, all great stuff, good stuff. And I happened, caught Dr. Greer in that, and he'd said something that caught my attention, and I started delving in. And, about 7-8 months of watching everything I could find about him, and checking out other experiencers of it, and knowing and seeing their stuff, and finally figuring out, okay, this is real. This is real. This is real. And I tried it. I'd never meditated before, not a guru. It took me several weeks of really progressing, but it's a progress. It's a process. It's not just asking and there they are. It's about raising your own awareness of your own consciousness, of your own emotional vibration, your own frequencies. I mean, science has proven the aura, quote unquote, but it's we give off this emotional frequency of vibration of energy with different emotions and thoughts and beliefs. And the belief is the biggest thing. People talk about it being belief like a religion. It is not anything like a religion. Confusing that is the same thing that's caught the quantum theory and the quantum mechanics so much slack in trying to build up their credibility to answering what it is that's happening at being able to affect with consciousness matter. And that thinking that it's religious in any way is really to our own detriment, and we shouldn't do it, because the religions were so screwed up. I mean, we've seen it in so many of them, hiding the Nagdi text and the Gnostic text and the ancient origins, and hiding. I mean, the giants. We have more than enough proof that everything we've been fed is basically just. The first thing I want to say are cuss words, and I'm trying so hard not to, but it's just. It's
You can
a
cuss.
rose sticking up out of a pile of manure,
We're not.
and you had to dig through it to get to the truth. But I think I got off track.
Oh, that's okay.
But what were we talking about?
We were talking.
I was trying so hard not to cuss. I stopped my train of thought. I'm sorry. But it's not religious. The belief in this
That's
and
okay.
and taking on.
Was that Julie? Julie, did you say
I was telling
something?
her that, yes, I did. That, that I believe that consciousness and, originates matter and emotion. You have to put the emotion in there and the intent, and you can make matter.
Mm-hmm. And the belief, the belief is everything with that. You have to believe that you can.
Oh, yes.
For people that don't know about quantum, like me, I don't know very much. I just know bullet points. That's it. But the people that don't, I can only relate it to them. Is like watching that old cartoon Peter Pan, and the little lost boy couldn't see the fairies because he didn't believe. He had to convince himself that he believed in order to give himself the ability to the permission to see. It ties into that free will thing. It all ties in.
Yeah.
But the quantum of physics, is a great guy, Richard Tiemann. I actually wrote it down so I'd say it right. If you think you understand quantum mechanics, then you don't understand quantum mechanics. But being able to affect matter at a different realm simultaneously with thought is basically what started all the support for the attraction, the laws of attraction, and all of that. And think yourself slim. I mean, of course, they marketed it. Think yourself slim and think yourself rich. It's about